Thanks for joining another episode of The Blade Boys. I'm Ted Flett.
And I'm Myth Das.
And today we're going to chat about the men's event at Nebelhorn Trophy 2015. There were some great skaters there. And Max, I think Myth, I think one of the headliners
We'll talk about Max.
Max.
Well, there were actually quite a few surprises at Nebelhorn Trophy for the men's event this season. So, yes, we will, I guess, dive right into it. And we'll start off with, I guess, the short program where Max Aaron from the United States laid down a personal best program, nailed the quad Salchow triple toe, nailed the triple axel, and nailed his solo Lutz, and delivered a fantastic program. In fact, the only real error was when his spin, he accidentally went on the wrong edge, and it dropped it down to a base level spin. But other than that, like, he got 83 points, which was a huge personal best for him. Could have been 85, 86, but hey, it's early in the season. You got to leave room for improvement. But we're super proud of Max and this breakthrough short program for him.
I agree. I'm so impressed. I mean, this is not the same skater that we saw in 2013 take U.S. Nationals by storm. He is skating far less on one foot. He's using his arms. He's actually got some flow and movement to them. He's just a completely, I wouldn't say reinvented, but changed skater. Although I just said reinvented, he's a changed and improved skater. And I mean, I love that about the guy. He's had lots of critics, pundits, judges tell him he needs to become more artistic. He tried 2 more seasons after West Side Story, pushing away last season with Gladiator program, and he finally obviously thought, all right, fine, you want to see artistic? And he went over to the wall and pulled Swan Lake off the shelf. You want to see artistic? I'm going to give you the most artistic there is, which I think is risky. I mean, we're talking the music of Rudy Galindo and Sasha Cohen.
Oksana Bayul.
Yeah, my apologies, Oksana.
He didn't wear the same like fierce crown though, right? So maybe he would have got a couple more points for that. But
well, like you said, man, it's early in the season.
It is early in the season, right?
And I think that he skates up to the music quite well. He did admit in debriefing after the men's short program that some of the work that he's doing now with Philip Mills to improve his artistry and musical interpretation and choreography, he does have tendencies to say, all right, can we just cut this out? I just want to go jump. But he's committed, and he really wants to improve that side of his skating, and I think that's coming through. It doesn't look forced and inauthentic. He really does seem to be emoting more of the music, and that came through certainly in the short program.
For sure. Unfortunately, he made some costly errors in the free skate, but again, like you said, his Swan Lake free skate suits him very well. It's judging friendly. I mean, I miss Tron. I mean, I'm a huge Tron fan. I know, and I was like gagging when like Max decided to do a short program, and I think his costume for that, which is fabulous, is in like the Figure Skating Hall of Fame or something. But like, I really love.
Didn't you wear that as a Halloween costume?
I did wear it as a Halloween costume as well. It glowed in the dark. I didn't get hit by any cars, but it wasn't didn't have the sequence that Max's costume had. So I don't know. I really loved. I think that Tron was like a defining program for Max, but now he realizes in order to like win competitions. I don't want to say he has to pander to judges, but let's face it, it's figure skating. I mean, everyone perform. Yeah, you gotta perform for the judges. You gotta choose songs and themes that are palatable to them. And in Max's case, he's consistently been viewed as a technical skater because he is like the U.S.'s quad king essentially. But now he needs to sort of transcend that and show off his artistic side in order to really gain the footing that he needs to compete with artistic skaters like Jason Brown and Joshua Ferris and upcoming ones like Nathan Chen in order to really cement himself as one of the U.S. favorites. And there are 3 spots for the U.S. team, so we think this silver medal finish for Max is a great precursor to his Grand Prix season, and hopefully he can get back on that U.S. World Team and really make a name for himself this season.
Mm-hmm. The amazing thing about Max that I noticed in competition live is he warms up like a caged animal. Like he is just pounding around the rink.
Hmm.
Oh man, he looks a little bit, he looks quite tense and intense. And I I was watching him in the warm up, thinking, is he going to completely either combust or melt down or something? And then when he takes center ice and starts interpreting Swan Lake, he really changes in character. But it
Hmm.
does give me a bit of an uneasiness seeing him live in warm up. He looks quite stressed out. A couple other things I'll say. I think he stopped shaping his eyebrows, which I think is a good move.
Sorry.
And last thing, like it was there. I mean,
Eyebrows on fleek,
I
Max.
was right there at the boards, and he's in a very. I mean, he's really gone with quite refined, simple costuming.
That's
Sort of a fairly plain white shirt, black, very fitted pants in the short program, and then all black in the long program. There was, right there at the edge of the ice. I gotta say, like, I see London, I see, or what is the expression? I see Paris, I see France, I see London,
we
I
got
see
kids
France,
watching.
I see Max.
Okay.
But here's the thing: I see Max Aaron's underpants. He was wearing like bright red underwear. You could
Oh my god,
totally
Max is
see.
gonna watch this and kill us, okay? Like he is gonna
Hey,
unfollow
he's
us, he's
wearing it. He's
gonna
putting it out
hate
there.
tweet
So
us.
I mean, I,
We love
I
you,
realized that
Max.
I realized that men's figure skaters go to the days of wearing the onesie where the caution goes up to your neck and right to your sleeves, and
Yeah.
everything's concealed and covered. If you're going to show your underwear, or if you can see it, like pick black underwear if we're in a black caution. These were bright red. I'm just saying.
That's okay.
It's not like the other fans didn't see it. Just sharing it on.
We don't have a clip of that, fortunately or unfortunately. I don't know, depending on how you look at it. But
Totally.
regardless, congratulations, Max, on
Yeah.
your Nebelhorn silver medal. Uh, and it's we think it's your first podium of many this season. So we're rooting for you, and we think that you can definitely be that U.S. guy who has both the quads and the artistry to boot, to really push for the top spots in the world. I mean, there's a lot of competition, but this is a great start, and we definitely think that on the Grand Prix, for sure, you'll be one of those medal contenders to watch out for.
Okay, Myth. Speaking of top spot, let me throw it to you for who won the event. One of our favorite Canadians,
Oh my God,
Elijah.
Elaj Balde, man, like Elaj,
Stepped
I
up. He stepped up.
you like ooh Elaj, you stepped up, and you were constantly seen as this like showman skater because he really knows how to engage an audience and draw them in. And there are some skaters who are like, like I don't really care about like pulling off the hard elements or pleasing the judges. I just want to perform for the audience. And Elijah is one of those skaters who I love because of that. But this season, clearly he like said to himself, okay, I can't just perform, I need to compete. And this competition really showed, I think it was a breakthrough competition for him because he was actually able to perceive himself as that competitor now. Before, he would have technical errors here and there, but like, again, like Caitlin Osman, the other Canadian awesomeness, he's able to maintain the performance. But this time he stepped up. He got his quad done in both programs. He got his axle done. He nailed a gorgeous triple axle, triple toe
He sure did.
in his free skate, and he ended up with a score of 242 points to like win the gold by about 20 points over the next competitors. So kudos to him. I mean, that score is only a point shy of Nam Nguyen's score uh, from last year's Worlds. So there could really be a battle brewing in nationals. I mean, Patrick Chan just competed in the Quebec Trophy or the Quebec competition where he debuted his Mac the Knife program. So he's kind of showing he's back up to form. So Elaj and Nam will definitely be fighting for that other spot on the world team. But this is a great competition for Elaj. And one thing I noticed also about Elaj is not just his competitive side, but he really showed off some nice lines. His posture is improved. He's serving us this Roheen Ward realness where he's got that, like those languid long lines, especially in his free skate, and then he reels off these jumps to boot with beautiful landings. Like his landings on his jumps have been so much more secure. So I thought it was a very impressive early season showing from him.
Yeah, I was a little worried when I heard that he was leaving Yuka Sato and Jason Junjin's camp, where, of course, they've created or helped finesse excellent skaters like Jeremy Abbott and Alyssa Sisney. They've maybe tapered off. Valentina Marquet was another one. She's, of course, left to pursue pairs. So I think their camp is, or their stable of skaters is shrinking a little bit, but they did seem to be doing good things for Alaj. And of course, he went to Bruno Marcotte, who's known more for pairs than single skating coaching. Mm-hmm. I was a little concerned, but this obviously shows that it wasn't just a change in coaching, it was also a return home. Mm-hmm. And I think for him being home, it seems to be working for him, and that showed. To show this early in the season, I think this is giving him a great confidence boost to continue to plug away and, like you say, challenge at the Canadian National Championships to make the world team.
Yeah, and like his Grand Prix events, I'm trying to remember what they are. I think it's Cup of China, and. Is it France? I kind of wonder why he didn't compete at Rosselcom Cup, because he is originally a Muscovite, and I'm sure there are a lot of fans from Russia who are really jazzed to see that. Like, hey, like we've got another Russian man like who's in the mix as well. So I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't go to Cup of Russia, but I think this really sets himself up nicely for a very strong Grand Prix showing. So we're very excited to see what Alaj has in store this season, and if he can replicate this result when he starts getting into competitions with like even bigger guns.
Agreed, and I think reworking that flamenco program into a long program really helped to set him apart. You mentioned Russian men, and of course there was a fantastic Russian on the podium as well, mm-hmm. Konstantin Menshov, running away with the bronze medal. I gotta say, my hat's off to a guy like Konstantin, who's still, I believe he's 32, 33, early 30s.
Something like that.
Yeah,
like he's not a spring chicken as far as figure skating goes.
No, he's certainly not, and good for him for plugging away at this. I think he hasn't gotten a lot of partly the attention that he's deserved, and he's just been overshadowed by younger, stronger skaters, the
more popular ones as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so it was nice to see him make the podium here at Nebelhorn Trophy with a relatively strong skate in the long program.
Yeah. Kudos to him. Even the short program, he did quite well. Like he's one of the only skaters in the world who attempts two different quads, as you can only attempt two different quads in your short program. And he had a really strong free skate too, where he also nailed both opening quads, and he had a fall on his second quad toe. But I don't know, he has this kind of delay going into his quad toe. Like if you see his practices, he is like the Russian quad king. Like he can reel off quads at the drop of a hat, which is very impressive, especially given his age, to like now start pursuing not just the quad toe but the quad Salchow as well, and adding that to his repertoire. He did have a clean program last year where he hit the quad Sal and the quad toe, so he's definitely capable of it. And I think these programs kind of they're a little angsty, like they're, I don't want to say emo, but like I think he marches to the beat of his own drum and doesn't go for those classical Russian pieces or like those like those showman types. He really has his own style, and I think he's the type of skater who kind of keeps his head low and just goes to work and does and trains hard, and it really comes out in his performances. And I think he, with his Mad World performance and the Pentatonics version of the Imagine Dragons Radioactive, which is like one of my favorite songs. So thank you for choosing that, Konstantin. I think it really suits his character, and he's able to project that onto the ice, and the audience is appreciative of it. And again, he's a sentimental favorite. The Russian Federation kind of, I don't want to say screwed him over, but like, yeah, they kind of screwed him over back in like 2013, where he came third at Russian Nationals and they didn't send him to Europeans. Same thing with his Olympic year. Like he came third at Europeans and wasn't really in the mix for nationals. I mean, once Plushenko came back, it's kind of like, well, you're the de facto uh, Olympics entry. They didn't even really consider Kovtun, and his Euro performance kind of sealed that. But
Mm.
I think Voronov, another Russian. I think Menshov has kind of been gypped of a couple opportunities. So it's nice to see that he's stuck with it and is still able to contend for the podium against some other strong skaters as well.
Yeah, I'm pleased to see him not just hanging around or sticking in it, but continuing to improve and advance his technical ability and become more comfortable with his own artistry and choreography. So it'll be interesting to see how the Russian men's storyline unfolds this season. Uh, you there was the brilliant Frenchman as well.
We Florent
Mais
Amodio.
oui. Florent Amodio. Okay, I was thinking Florence Amodio, and I was like, it's not
No,
Florence.
it's Florent
It's Florent.
Florent. I think that's how you say it
Form,
in France,
yeah,
right?
former European champion.
Monsieur Florent Amodio. Amodio. Okay,
Mais oui.
we'll get
And
it, Florent.
I was really impressed with his short program. I was really disappointed for him that he made the mistake on the combination after landing a beauty of a quad, which hadn't been that consistent that week in practice, as well as the triple axel. I thought he was looking really good. He just had the easy triple Lutz, triple toe combination to seal the deal, and he doubles the Lutz and doesn't tack anything onto the end of it. So that was a real shame, and you could tell on the ice he was stunned too. The
He had the
program
same
takes a bit of
problem.
bit of warming up too in terms of the start of the short program, but I think once he goes into happy, he gets the audience behind him and love. His feet are fast and happy, and I think it's a really entertaining program and demonstrates his showmanship and musicality.
Yeah, I agree. I think Florent Amodio is like one of the most entertaining skaters in the field today. He's always been the most entertaining. Like he has unconventional music choices. I mean, Fergalicious, hello. But he, but he's definitely one of those against the grain skaters who's like you never really know what to expect from him next, and but whatever he does, you're invariably like entertained by it.
Yeah.
Again, like Elad, he's kind of fallen into this niche of being a show skater. He's had some great success in the past, being a former European champion, but also he's kind of come off the radar a bit over the past couple of years due to technical problems. And I think this competition was a great breakthrough for him. His free skate was quite strong. He opened with a he hung on to that quad Salchow in the very beginning. He landed an amazing triple axel, half loop, triple Salchow sequence later on in the program. Unfortunately, his Lutz, right? Like he doubled the Lutz again, and that's so costly. His final score was like 207, which is way below his personal best and way below what he is capable of. But then again, you look at the points, like the system is so harsh for doubling jumps or not comboing as in the short. Like he lost about 9 points for that missed Lutz combo. And then in the free skate, by doubling the Lutz, he lost, I guess, another 4-ish points. And then he missed his triple axel, his second triple axel as well. So there were some errors there that really cost him a couple points. He could have definitely been on the podium, maybe even silver as well if he skated to his potential. But that being said, it's great to see that he's got the quad out there. He landed it in both programs. His triple axel is showing good consistency. It's funny enough, it's the minor jumps like the Lutz that he really needs to work on to ensure that he can get those extra points. But
Yeah, it's
he should,
focus and
yeah.
staying in the zone. And I wonder if a guy like Florent is sort of hurt by the fact that Brian Joubert has now retired and he doesn't have a fellow Frenchman pushing him
Mm,
like Alage does or Max Aaron does, who know that making the European or making their European or four continents and the world's team is not given. And you wonder if there was a couple stronger skaters in France who were really challenging him on the world scene, if it might push him to be a slightly stronger skater. You just wonder if he could sort
Yeah,
of
like
he
they
can
had
cool his heels a little bit and maybe not always step up.
Shafik Bessagier a couple I think it was the season before last, who was again a very unconventional skater who was very competitive and I think placed top 10 at Worlds even in order to maintain spots for France. But he's kind of fallen off the radar. And you're right, like Amodio, he's kind of suffered a little bit probably from the lack of competition. I'm thinking the same thing might have happened to Michael Brezhnev, who had a pretty good short program to like place third there, but had a disastrous free skate. Maybe that's due to Thomas Werner no longer competing anymore. But I think these guys now need to, in countries where there isn't as deep a pool of skaters, they really need to focus on themselves and kind of pull a Dennis 10. Like, how do I get the motivation to get myself to that next level on the world stage? How do I show up at nationals without
someone
somebody chasing you,
from
right?
behind.
Yeah.
And I think Brezina has, ever since his sort of arrival on the world scene in 2010, he has just every year dropped down in the world rankings to as low as 15. And so I have to wonder if, for Michael Brezina, if this is sort of a point of feeling at the crossroads in his career.
Right. I mean, he did have some success. Like he placed third at Euros a couple seasons ago. But you're right. Like he's tapering off, and he's one of those skaters that like we really root for him, and we really think he can get it together. But then he makes silly errors, like on elements that are just generally super easy for him. I don't know if it's a fatigue thing or if it's a focus thing, but he's very talented. In practice, we have clips on our channel where he lands like a gorgeous quad Salchow, but unfortunately his quads were just not there in the short program and long program. But then again, it is the beginning of the season, and it's sometimes nice for skaters to shake those cobwebs off now. So while you do get like not so great performances and silly errors from like Amodio and Brezina, it's also like you also get skaters like Max in his short program or Elage in both programs really delivering and setting themselves up strongly. So it can go either way. You never know. There are some skaters who perform really well early in the season, and other skaters who peak later in the season. So we're hoping that everyone peaks later in the season, because that's when it really all it counts for all the marbles, as one would say.
Yeah.
So.
And I think, before we finish off this men's summary of Nebelhorn, I got to give a shout out. And this is one of the great things about attending an event live and seeing the full roster of skaters, not just those who are within the final flight or in the top group or those who are televised. I got to see a skater named Jorik Hendricks from Belgium, who I'd never heard of before. He doesn't have a very consistent triple axel. He missed it in all three attempts in the competition. And unfortunately, in the free skate, he also missed his double axles. I think that's just because he got lost in the air, and he did them back to back. So he missed the first one, and then as he went into the very next double axel, I think he was probably second guessing himself. Right. However, this guy's long program set to Titanic with lyrics is sensational. He skates it full out. His musicality and interpretation and choreography and speed and commitment to the program is brilliant. He expresses the music through his feet, through his arms, through his face. He's such an entertaining skater to watch. It's the first time I've never been really a fan of Titanic as music for figure skating. I saw Shizuka Arakawa skate to it in 2003, and I was like, let that ship sink. I was not a
But she rose from the ashes to win the Olympic title.
But Hendricks,
even though she kind of sunk a little bit. That wasn't her best effort.
But Hendricks skates it. He just skates it so well, and he also uses lyrics or lines from the movie in the cuts of music from both Jack and Rose. So it's not very often that you hear a man, or a figure skater skate to music or lines from someone of the opposite gender. And his final pose is Jack's last breath before, of course, he passes in the movie. And it's like, Gave me
Spoiler.
goosebumps. It's just an amazing figure skating moment. So if anybody has the opportunity to watch Eric Hendricks and skate online, I highly recommend it, and follow this skater and keep watching this program. Also has a great costume, just plain simple black pants, sort of a watery blue and white costume or top. It's actually recycled from last season, but it really suits this music.
No Heart of the Ocean though, right? Like that little
Yeah,
necklace
no,
thing. Yeah, no, none of that. That would be a little
none of
bit too
he
literal.
doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't go
It
over the
doesn't go
top.
well. It's like Oksana Bayul's like Black Swan headdress. Some things are just meant for certain skaters.
That's right.
Although I'm
That's
sure he
right.
could pull it off too. But yeah, interesting you mentioned York because like yes, he is a very he's one of those skaters who really gets into the interpretation. And you kind of reminded me of Misha Gay as well, who is a great interpretive skater from Uzbekistan. So like York, from a country that's not really known for skaters, and once he started getting his triple axel, like he ended up like sixth in the world. So like once we see the Grand Prix season, we'll see how he skates. But there is hope for Yorick if he already has like the interpretation down. Then once he starts getting the technical elements, he could possibly be a player, and that'll be something that we can watch out for in the future.
Yeah, and even if he's not, I mean, he doesn't even attempt a quad, so I don't know that he's going. I mean, I don't believe he's even been to the World Championships in the last couple seasons. But there are just some fine figure skating moments, technical, the technical aside, and who's in the running for the podium aside, that are wonderful to take in. And he was one of them at Nebelhorn for me.
Nice. Okay, well, I think that wraps up our men's segment of the Nebelhorn Trophy, and please check out some of our other videos. We have videos to the other disciplines somewhere around here. And yeah, I know, I'm starting to get used to this.
Totally. We're like airport
We're like,
controllers.
we're go here, go here. But we'll have we'll have links to the other disciplines, and we'll be feeding them out over the next couple of days. And you can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook for more updates. And please subscribe to our channel because we're going to try to be coming up with some content for you guys and more videos and hopefully some more interviews. Hope you liked some of the ones from Nebelhorn, which you might see here. And yeah, that's a wrap. And
for some
yep, yeah.
and for some of those of you that didn't like the videos, we're taking all that constructive criticism on board.
Well, like I say, the haters gonna hate, but the skaters gonna skate. So we're taking the constructive criticism, and we're just thrilled to sort of be able to talk about something we love, and we're glad to have a couple fans already. So we hope you guys enjoyed this video and some of the other ones, and just like Florano Modio would want, just keep it happy, right? All right, and that's the Blade Boy signing off.